So, a very special welcome once again, dear viewer, and thank you for tuning in for the third episode in our podcast, the Gurupad podcast. And once again, I have as my co-host my my eldest daughter Jyoti, and it really is a pleasure to spend this time with her and to have this podcast and to have you, of course, viewing this and enjoying the stories. So, as usual, we'll go straight into the story. And this time, I had about three, four stories coming in my mind for some reason. Like the previous two episodes, like I knew which one it was, and I was going straight into it. But somehow for this one, like three, four stories I was playing with, and then finally we decided just before to go with this one, The Rich Man and the Sword, which is one of the favorites to this story of The Rich Man and the Sword. And well, I know we have viewers there, so if anybody wants to give any comments too, you could type your comments and so on. They're always welcome. So, The Rich Man and the Sword. So, a long time ago, there was this man. He was very wealthy. He had a lot of gold. He had the huge mansion, palace-like house, and a lot of land and jewels and all those things. So he was very wealthy and was living a very luxurious life. Now, even today, we have a problem with people stealing from other people, and back in that time too, the same problem was there. So the wealthy man, he was very concerned. He was very worried about losing his wealth to thieves. So when you have something on your mind, you're always thinking about it. You might listen to others and so on. And then he heard from other people that a sword could protect a person from bandits, from thieves. So the wealthy man, he heard it a few places and it was on his mind, so he thought to himself, I feel I better get a sword because I have a lot of wealth and I don't want people to steal it from me. So of course he went to the biggest store and bought the best sword, with the jewels on the handle, of course the best materials and so on. And he spent a lot of money, but he was very satisfied with his purchase because not only that he got something good, it was something that could save all the wealth that he had. So he carried it home and he put it up in a very safe place close to him by this bedroom area there. He put it on the wall, hang it up properly in a proper sheet, they say, where they put the sword in, and also a good holder so it will be secure on the wall. And he slept comfortably. So this went on for a few days. And then one night he heard some sounds coming from downstairs in his large house. And he realized that he had some thieves home by him. So he remained on his bed and he whispered to the sword, sword, sword. Well, sword, thieves are in the house. And, well, nothing. Oh, and I see we have some comments here, so I'll just check it out. Okay, and well, Sitaram Krishnan, I know that you always here, so happy to see you again. And Sitaram Aryan, good to see you joining the podcast. Right, so we were there and we had some thieves in the house of this rich man. And he had the sword on the wall, so we didn't want to let the thieves know that he was aware that they were in the house. So he whispered, he remained on the bed, pretending like he was sleeping. He turned to the side and he said, sword, sword, thieves are in the house. Thieves. And well, nothing is a sword. It was there, and he kept whispering this, and of course, after a while, he um he started to get angry. His voice changed, and in a rough voice, he said, sword, sword, thieves, sword, thieves. And of course, nothing happened because his sword is there. It's just an object. And the thieves came, they took all that they could carry, and they're gone. And the man was very angry, didn't sleep at all that night. And in the morning now, and Sitaram, Pradeep, good to see you. And also, remember this time, excellent. I know some people watch your recordings, but happy you could join us live too. So, morning now, the man didn't sleep whole night. So you can imagine a little miserable if you didn't sleep whole night, how you just feel. Sometimes you just have to drag through the day. And sometimes when you don't get enough sleep, it affects your mood. People who don't sleep properly, or they don't sleep whole night, then these people are very cranky. They get upset very quickly, and they quarrel for every little thing because they're not at peace now. So it's very important. Always remember to sleep a good night's sleep. Right? Always try to get the proper amount of rest for your body. It's very important. No matter if you have an exam, or some people an exam come whole night, they weekend to study. It's not good too, because when you wake whole night and you try to learn things for the next day, and when you go there, you're tired, mentally tired, try to remember, and it could be very stressful. So always remember to study in advance and sleep properly. And when you go for exam or anything you have to face, you'll do your best. So this man didn't sleep too good, and he was upset, and he was looking at his sword, and thieves came, and he lost everything, and he was just angry at the sword, and he took the sword and he threw it down the ground, and so angry he took his foot and he fire a kick on the sword, and of course it's a sword, so he got a cut on his foot, and well, he was even more angry and so on. So this is a short story of the rich man and the sword. So before I hand over to my daughter, I will just thanks to Maria, Sitaram, and also, well, and Miss Jyoti. So we hand over to Miss Jyoti to give her reaction on this story.
Namaste, Sitaram, everyone. So, it's a very simple and straightforward story. It reminds me of many things. First things that come to mind is that I'm actually, there's also a side note, but I'm reading the second book in the Last Apprentice series with my husband. And there's also a rich man in that story with a very bedazzled, bejeweled sword, but he doesn't know what to do with it either. So that was the first thing I thought of. But then, as you listen to the rest of the story, you realize the moral of the story and all of that. But essentially, uh, it's a very simple but profound message that, when you're faced with any situation in life, any problems in life, anything that happens in life, and you take the precautionary measures, or you do what you know that you're supposed to do. So for in this case, he got a weapon to be able to protect himself and protect his wealth, but he did not actually educate himself on how to use it. He did not realize that he needs to be the one to take up the sword and to defend his wealth and himself. And in the same way, in life, there are many instances where we find ourselves in similar positions. I know many people go to temple, but they might go to temple and they'll sit down and they'll listen, but it'll go in one ear and it'll come out the next ear, and they actually wouldn't apply it to real life. Or you go to school with your books and you make all your notes and everything, but when you go home, you just leave it there in your bag and you're bothering with that. You say, well, I do my work in school, that's enough. But that's not enough. So in life, we need to put in the effort to be able to see everything through, to be able to do what we're supposed to do, to be able to, these objects are just objects, they're just things. We have to be the ones to put in the effort and time to be able to use them to defend us in this case, or to educate us, or to help us prosper in life. So that's it.
So thank you very much, Jyoti. Very well done. Oh, and it's Kendall, yes, Kendall, Sitaram. And she says Sitaram to Miss Jyoti as well. So yes, and I think that is very well, was a very good interpretation. The sword wouldn't do anything on its own. The man had to know how to use the sword to scare away the thieves, or or defend himself. So it requires effort. You have to perform action. You have to learn how to use it, and you have to protect. So in the same way with everything in life, it wouldn't just come just so. You have to make efforts. You have to perform the actions, and then you will get it. And also, I remember with my teacher, when he gave this message, he also said, like, we have all these wonderful books, the Ramayana, the Gita, and all these things, and all of us, we worship these books, but sometimes we don't read it ourselves. And nowadays you have a lot of videos on the internet. You could Google stuff, you could do all sorts of things. You could get those books to download for free on the internet. So try to read them, and in other words, try to use them. Don't only have them there, like, we worship them and we hope that they will save us. We have to perform the action and learn from them, and we will be successful in our lives. So with this, one thing here, I want to share the screen. And okay, before I do that, I see Aaron is here. I think that's Aaron, so Sitaram Aaron. And next, what happened with this month being the month of May, and we have the Indian Arrival Day and thing coming up. So I say I'll do a little thing on the history. So I have this thing I prepared. So I'm just showing you it. So I'll just share the screen right. I hope you're all able to see that. So we're going to look like a brief history, because in the history we came to Trinidad, we arrived here, and many other people arrived. So I want to look at the whole history from the beginning of time, which is billions of years ago, and up to present day. Don't feel I won't take as long as a billion years to do that. So we'll have the things in between. I'll give you some stories from the history of time. So we'll look at those things next week. Hopefully we might start with that. So I'm just in closing, well, Sitaram Neil, so happy that you're able to join. I know you're always here. And also Navin, Sitaram, oh, it's Rudra Pripchan, right. Sitaram, Rudra, good to see that you're here. I know you write very well too, so it's very good. So with these few words, remember it is recorded, so if you missed any part, you could look back at the beginning. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and have a great night, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Jai Sitaram.